Alina's breath crystallized in the frigid air of the ship's observation deck as she studied the approaching blue-green planet. Earth looked deceptively ordinary from this distance, a watery world wrapped in swirling cloud systems, its night side dotted with city lights. Yet something about it had terrified 7 galactic superpowers enough to leave warnings in their final moments. "Preliminary scans complete, Doctor," the ship's navigator announced, her 4-fingered hands dancing across holographic controls. "Those energy readings are unlike anything in our database. They appear to originate from beneath the planetary crust, concentrated in oceanic trenches and polar regions." Commander Vexer joined them, his scale-ridged face unreadable as he studied the data. The Arcturian's yellow eyes narrowed to slits. "The Council believes this is merely another primitive species hiding technology they've scavenged," he said, voice betraying skepticism. "Yet these readings suggest capabilities beyond even Zeth Empire pinnacle achievements." Alina zoomed into the display, highlighting energy fluctuations. "Notice these patterns. They're identical to residual signatures I found in the ruins on Proxima Centauri II, just before the Mithran Empire collapsed. Whatever humans are guarding, it speaks the same language as what destroyed civilizations thousands of years apart." Their ship passed the orbital defense grid, primitive by galactic standards, but unusually dense. Humanity had built their defenses to withstand overwhelming force rather than surgical strikes, an unusual strategy for a species that had never fought an interstellar war. "We're being scanned," the navigator reported, surprise evident in her voice. "Their technology shouldn't be capable of detecting our shielding." The communications array chimed with an incoming transmission. A human face appeared on screen. Dark-skinned, silver-haired, with eyes that seemed to hold centuries of knowledge. "Arcturian vessel, this is Earth Diplomatic Corps. We've been expecting you. Ambassador Cheng extends greetings and requests your presence at Singapore Spaceport. Transmitting approach vectors now." Vexer's scales rippled with surprise. "You were expecting us?" "Our mission was classified at the highest levels." The human's expression remained pleasant but revealed nothing. "Earth has maintained a policy of non-interference in galactic politics. That doesn't mean we're unaware of them. We've been monitoring Council communications since you discovered our system." Alina felt a chill that had nothing to do with the observation deck's temperature. The Galactic Council's quantum encryption was supposed to be unbreakable. As they followed the transmitted flight path toward Earth's surface, Alina reviewed her notes one final time. The pattern was undeniable. 7 civilizations, spanning 30,000 years of galactic history, all destroyed shortly after discovering whatever secret humanity protected, all leaving the same morning. They're protecting something far darker. The ship shuddered slightly as it entered Earth's atmosphere, cutting through cloud layers toward a sprawling spaceport built over what had once been an island nation. From this closer vantage point, Alina could see the architectural contrast of human civilization. Ancient structures preserved alongside hypermodern complexes, a species simultaneously honoring its past while racing toward its future. "Commander," she said quietly, "what if we're asking the wrong question? What if humans aren't the danger, but the only thing standing between the galaxy and something infinitely worse?" Vexer's expression hardened. "Then we'd better hope they consider us allies rather than threats. The Council won't hesitate to neutralize this world if they believe it harbors something that destroyed the Zeth." The ship touched down on the landing pad, where a delegation of humans waited. As the airlock cycled open, Alina wondered which possibility terrified her more: that humanity was hiding a weapon capable of destroying empires, or that they were the last defense against something that had already done so 7 times before. Ambassador Cheng led them through the gleaming halls of the Earth Diplomatic Center, his tailored blue suit impeccable against the backdrop of ancient artwork and cutting-edge technology that defined human aesthetic sensibilities. Alina noticed how carefully curated their tour seemed, impressive enough to demonstrate human achievement, yet revealing nothing truly sensitive. "Our Europa colonies have recently established self-sustaining biospheres," Cheng explained as they passed a holographic display of the Jovian moon. And our Mars settlements have successfully terraformed 3 habitable zones. Lieutenant Kira, their xenobiologist, leaned closer to Alina. Notice how they mention their outer system colonies but provide minimal details. My scans indicate significantly more infrastructure than they're acknowledging. Vexor maintained his diplomatic facade, scales perfectly still in the practiced Arcturian expression of polite interest. Ambassador, we understand certain regions of Earth remain restricted. The Mariana research facilities, for instance. Our council has expressed interest in your deep ocean technologies. Cheng's smile remained unchanged, but Alina caught the almost imperceptible tightening around his eyes. Regrettably, those facilities are undergoing critical maintenance cycles, perhaps on your next visit. Our Antarctic ecological preserves, however, might interest your biologists. Ecological preserves requiring quantum shielding? Vexor asked mildly. The tension in the room crystallized instantly. 2 human security officers shifted their stance slightly, a movement so subtle Alina would have missed it had she not been watching for reactions. Certain indigenous species require specialized containment, Cheng replied smoothly. Earth's biodiversity is unique in requiring extraordinary conservation methods. Later, during the formal reception in the orbital diplomatic station, Alina slipped away from the carefully choreographed event. Her specialized scanner, disguised as standard archaeological equipment, detected energy patterns identical to those found in the ruins of the Zeth capital world, just before their civilization vanished. She followed the readings down a restricted corridor, using the security credentials Vexor had provided. The energy signature grew stronger, pulsing in a rhythm that seemed almost organic. Turning a corner, she found herself facing what appeared to be an ordinary wall, yet her scanner indicated something massive behind it. Curious about our station architecture, Dr. Reyes. Alina turned to find a human woman in a science division uniform watching her with knowing eyes. Dr. Lakshmi Chen. The woman introduced herself, head of Xenocultural Relations. Your wall is emitting energy signatures consistent with precursor technology, Alina replied, deciding directness might yield more than subterfuge. The same signatures present at 7 extinction-level events across galactic history. Dr. Chen's expression remained neutral, but something flickered in her eyes. Recognition, perhaps even fear. History is a fascinating subject, isn't it? How civilizations rise and fall, often repeating the same mistakes. She gestured toward the reception. We should rejoin the gathering before security becomes concerned about your architectural interests. As they walked, Chen spoke quietly. 17 times in our history, humanity faced extinction. 17 times we survived against mathematical impossibility. Some of our people believe we had help. The Watchers, Alina said, recalling fragments from ancient human mythology her research had uncovered. Chen stopped abruptly, studying Alina with new intensity. Tomorrow you'll meet Dr. Marcus Okafor. He's been authorized to show you certain historical archives not generally available to offworlders. She leaned closer. Ask him about the Covenant and the price of knowledge. But understand this. Every civilization that's pursued these questions too aggressively no longer exists to regret their curiosity. Before Alina could respond, security drones rounded the corner, their sensors obviously tracking her unauthorized scanner. They'd moved with precision that seemed impossible for their design specifications, intercepting and flanking her with reaction times that defied standard AI capabilities. Your device appears to be malfunctioning, Dr. Reyes, Chen said loudly for the benefit of approaching guards. Perhaps our engineers can repair it before tomorrow's archaeological briefing. As a drone confiscated her scanner, Alina caught Vexor watching from across the reception hall, his expression unreadable but his posture conveying clear warning. They were being watched far more closely than they had anticipated, and humanity's technological capabilities had been deliberately, dangerously underestimated. The Museum of Pre-Unification History stood in stark contrast to the hypermodern structures surrounding it. An ancient stone building preserved from what humans called their 21st century Elena waited at the bottom of worn marble steps, watching pedestrians hurry past in the misty morning light. Her confiscated scanner had been returned with its most advanced functions mysteriously disabled. "Dr. Reyes, I presume." The voice came from behind her, though she'd been watching the entrance carefully. Elena turned to find a tall man with deep brown skin and close-cropped silver hair. His eyes held the weariness of someone who carried secrets too heavy for one person. "Dr. Marcus Okafor," he confirmed, extending his hand in the human greeting custom. "We have much to discuss and limited time." Inside, Marcus bypassed the public galleries, leading her through a series of security checkpoints that grew progressively more sophisticated. The final door required both retinal and DNA verification before sliding open to reveal a climate-controlled archive room. "What I'm about to show you violates at least 17 security protocols," Marcus said, his hands trembling slightly as he retrieved an ancient manuscript preserved in transparent material. "These documents aren't classified because they're accurate. They're classified because too many of them, from too many disconnected civilizations, tell the same story." Elena accepted the delicate object, recognizing immediately the pictographic language of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Beside them, Marcus placed Sumerian cuneiform tablets, followed by scrolls from Asian, African, and pre-Columbian American civilizations. "Notice the similarities," he urged, pointing to depicted figures that appeared in each document. Tall beings with elongated features emerging from water or descending from the sky. Throughout our history, every culture has records of mysterious guardians appearing during extinction-level events, ecological catastrophes, asteroid impacts, even pandemics that should have eradicated us. Elena studied the images carefully. "You called them watchers yesterday. Others called them gods, angels, spirit guides. The names changed, but the descriptions remained consistent." Marcus activated a holographic display showing overlaid images from the ancient texts. The archaeological record shows 17 distinct extinction-level events in Earth's history where humanity should have perished. Yet each time, we survived. Not just survived, but emerged stronger. "You believe these entities saved your species?" Marcus's expression darkened. "Not exactly. I believe we were engineered to protect them." He lowered his voice further. "The restricted zones, the Mariana Trench, Antarctica, certain sites in the Himalayas and Sahara, they all connect to a network that predates human civilization by billions of years." He pulled out another document, this one modern but marked with highest security clearances. This report documents energy signatures emanating from 2 kilometers beneath the Antarctic ice sheet, signatures that became active precisely when your ship entered our solar system. "The same signatures I detected in the diplomatic station," Elena whispered. Marcus nodded grimly. "The same signatures detected before the fall of each galactic empire that discovered Earth's secret." His hand shook as he collected the documents. "What if we're not protecting ourselves from the universe? What if we're protecting something else entirely? Something ancient that sleeps beneath our oceans and ice?" A subtle vibration interrupted them as the lights flickered momentarily. Marcus froze, his expression shifting to naked fear. "They're listening," he hissed, hurriedly returning documents to secure storage. "I've said too much already. Meet me at the old observatory tonight at 2200 hours. I'll show you why every empire that discovered our secret didn't live to exploit it." As they exited the secure area, Elena noticed museum security staff watching them with unsettling intensity. One guard spoke quietly into his communications device, his eyes never leaving their position. Later that night, returning to her assigned quarters, Elena immediately sensed something wrong. Nothing appeared disturbed, yet the subtle arrangement of her personal items had changed. Activating her backup scanner, a rudimentary device the humans hadn't detected, she confirmed her suspicions. Every item had been expertly examined and returned to positions approximately correct, but not exact. The security footage, when she accessed it, showed only a momentary blur moving faster than the recording system's frame rate could capture, a technological impossibility that sent a chill down her spine. Whatever had searched her room moved with capabilities beyond known physics. Her secure communicator pinged with an encrypted message from Vexor. Diplomatic situation deteriorating. Evidence suggests massive energy buildup beneath southern polar region. Prepare for potential extraction. Alina prepared for her clandestine meeting with Marcus, wondering if she was following the same dangerous path that had led 7 galactic civilizations to their doom. The emergency klaxons shattered the diplomatic meeting's carefully maintained decorum. Screens around the chamber flickered to life, displaying real-time data from a deep space monitoring station at the edge of the solar system. Ambassador Cheng's composure cracked for the first time since their arrival as he studied the incoming data. "We need to adjourn immediately," he announced, all pretense of diplomatic protocol abandoned. "Commander Vexar, the Galactic Council representatives will be escorted to secure facilities." Alina caught Vexor's subtle hand signal as security personnel moved to separate them. Something had changed fundamentally in the power dynamic. She slipped away during the confusion, using the emergency to access a data terminal with her restored credentials. The incoming transmission contained astronomical data that made her blood run cold. Something massive was approaching the galaxy, a void-like entity that consumed light itself. More disturbingly, long-dormant defense systems on supposedly dead worlds were activating across the sector. Ancient technology varied within the ruins of each fallen empire. Her secure communicator vibrated with an encrypted message from Arcturian High Command. Determine Earth connection to approaching anomaly. Authorization granted for all necessary measures. Alina's archaeological database contained the key. Cross-referencing energy signatures from each fallen civilization showed a clear pattern. Each empire had detected similar approaching entities shortly before their collapse. But the timing was what chilled her most. Each detection happened immediately after that empire attempted to access whatever power humanity now guarded. She worked frantically, piecing together fragments from 7 dead civilizations. The Zeth records were most complete, describing ancient guardians bound beneath the seas of the blue world, and warning that to disturb their slumber is to call forth that which hungers beyond the void. The Mithran Empire's final transmission was equally disturbing. "We sought to harness the power of the sleepers. Instead, we awakened their enemy. May those who find these records heed our warning. The humans protect something far darker, not out of malice, but necessity." A shadow fell across her terminal. Ambassador Cheng stood watching her, his diplomatic mask completely gone. "You've connected the patterns," he said. It wasn't a question. "The approaching entity is accelerating toward our galaxy. Your council believes we summoned it." "Did you?" Alina challenged, displaying the evidence she'd assembled. Cheng's eyes reflected something ancient and weary. "No. But your commander's unauthorized scans of our Antarctic facility may have. Those boundaries exist for a reason, Dr. Reyes." He gestured to her screen where the data showed the void entity's trajectory. "This has happened before, 7 times that we know of. Civilizations discover Earth, detect energy signatures they don't understand, attempt to seize what they believe is a weapon or power source, and then they fall," Alina finished. "Because they awakened whatever this is. It's drawn to specific energy patterns," Cheng confirmed. "Patterns created when certain technologies interact with what lies beneath our oceans and ice. Your commander has deployed such technology without understanding the consequences." Outside the windows, a strange aurora danced across Earth's atmosphere, ribbons of light in patterns that matched precisely the energy signatures detected before each empire's fall. Citizens across the planet began flooding emergency channels, reporting dreams of ancient beings stirring in the deep. Alina's tablet pinged with encrypted archaeological data. Her team had deciphered more of the Zeth warning. "The humans are not the darkness. They are the wall against which a greater darkness breaks. To breach their defenses is to doom all who live." "What are you protecting, Ambassador?" Alina asked directly. Not what, Chang replied, his voice barely audible. Who? And they're awakening for the first time in 50,000 years, because they sense what's coming. He turned to face the windows where the aurora intensified. We need to evacuate your people immediately. What happens next has destroyed 7 civilizations that didn't heed the warnings. The lights flickered as Earth's defense grid activated fully, revealing capabilities that made even Vexor's advanced military vessels seem primitive by comparison. Whatever humanity had been hiding, they weren't hiding it anymore. Commander Vexor stood alone in his ship's command center, watching real-time footage from the cloaked drones approaching Antarctica. His orders from the hegemony left no room for diplomatic niceties. Secure the technology beneath the ice by any means necessary. The potential power hidden on Earth could not remain exclusively in human hands, particularly with an unknown cosmic entity approaching. Drone Alpha approaching restricted zone perimeter, his tactical officer reported. No detection yet from human defense systems. Vexor's scales rippled with tension. This operation violated every diplomatic protocol, but the Arcturian hegemony had not survived for millennia by ignoring potential threats or potential advantages. The first drone crossed the invisible boundary of the Antarctic restricted zone and simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris, no energy discharge. One moment it transmitted data. The next, nothing remained. Impossible, the tactical officer whispered. No weapon system cold. Deploy drone beta with full scanning suite. Vexor interrupted. Maximum distance from perimeter, extended sensing only. The second drone maintained a safer distance, deploying advanced scanning technology developed from reverse-engineered Zeph artifacts. For 3 seconds, it transmitted data unlike anything in the galactic database, energy patterns that defied known physics, structures beneath 2 kilometers of ice that predated Earth's formation. Then a pulse of blue-white energy rippled outward, not just disabling the drone but cascading through systems across Vexor's ship, bypassing shielding that should have been impenetrable. Alarms blared as primary systems failed. Through viewport windows, Vexor watched Earth's defense grid activate, satellites shifting to reveal weapon emplacements, orbital platforms reconfiguring to defensive formations. The capabilities suddenly on display have been carefully concealed from galactic surveys. This constitutes an act of aggression. Ambassador Cheng's voice was cold as Antarctic iced through the emergency channel. Withdraw your remaining surveillance devices immediately. Vexor's communication screen showed not the diplomatic chamber, but a military command center deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, a facility whose existence had been hidden until this moment. The Arcturian hegemony seeks only to understand, Vexor began. You seek to seize what you don't understand, Cheng interrupted. 7 civilizations before you made the same mistake. We had hoped for a different outcome this time. Alina's voice cut through on a separate channel. Commander, I found something. Marcus left coordinates before he disappeared. A message about the bargain our ancestors made before we call ourselves human. Vexor noted the coordinates appearing on his secondary screen, an abandoned mining complex in what humans called the Rocky Mountains. This is not an authorized mission parameter, he replied formally, aware that Earth forces were monitoring all communications. Neither was sending drones into restricted zones, Alina countered. Commander, I've deciphered more Zeth records. They didn't fall because they attacked Earth. They fell because they awakened something by attempting to access what sleeps here, something that hunts across galaxies when disturbed. Outside the viewport, the aurora had intensified, now visible even in daylight, curtains of energy that corresponded with power fluctuations across Earth's surface. Deep space telemetry showed the approaching void accelerating, as if drawn by the energy suddenly emanating from the planet. Vexor made his decision. Prepare a stealth shuttle. We'll rendezvous at those coordinates in 3 hours. To the communications officer, inform the hegemony that diplomatic contact has been compromised. Request immediate reinforcements. The lieutenant hesitated. Sir, all quantum communications are being blocked. We cannot reach the hegemony. For the first time in his long career, Vexer felt something approaching fear. Not of humans, but of what their sudden defensive posture implied. Whatever they'd protected beneath their oceans and ice was awakening, and 7 prior civilizations had not survived the consequences. "Alert all personnel," he ordered. "Prepare for emergency departure from Earth orbit." His tactical display showed human vessels emerging from hidden bases on Mars' moons and Jupiter's satellites, ships whose designs incorporated technology that should have been far beyond human capabilities. Whatever humanity had been hiding, they were bringing all of it to bear now. The abandoned mining facility loomed against the mountainside, its dilapidated exterior belying the sophisticated security systems Elena detected as they approached. Vexer landed the stealth shuttle a kilometer away, unwilling to risk closer proximity after their Antarctic experience. "The human guards are using transcription field generators," he noted as they approached on foot. "Technology they shouldn't possess for at least another century." Elena's attention focused on the geological readings her scanner displayed. "This entire mountain is honeycombed with tunnels predating human industrial capabilities. The rock composition suggests these weren't formed naturally. They located an entrance partially concealed by overgrowth." The security system recognized Elena's biometric signature. Marcus had somehow added her to the access protocols before disappearing. "He wanted us to find this," she whispered as massive doors silently parted. The elevator descended far deeper than any human mining operation should reach. Elena noted the temperature rising despite their increasing depth, a thermodynamic impossibility without artificial regulation. When the doors finally opened, they faced a long corridor illuminated by lights that activated progressively as they advanced. "This facility predates human civilization," Vexer observed, studying markings etched into crystalline walls. "These symbols match fragments recovered from Zeth ruins." At the corridor's end stood another security barrier. Marcus waited on the other side, alongside 11 humans of diverse backgrounds and ages. Their expressions conveyed a mixture of resignation and grim determination. "You shouldn't have come," Marcus said as the barrier dissolved. "But perhaps it's necessary. The cycle must end somehow." The elderly woman beside him stepped forward. Her weathered face bore intricate tattoos that Elena recognized from ancient human cultures. "I am Dr. Imani Wright, current keeper of the Covenant," she said. "For 23,000 human years, we have maintained this secret. Only 12 humans in each generation know the complete truth." She gestured toward a shimmering wall that suddenly became transparent, revealing a cavern of impossible dimensions. Elena gasped at the sight. Crystalline structures pulsed with energy, arranged in patterns that somehow felt both organic and mathematically precise. "Billions of years ago," Imani explained, "beings of pure energy and thought dominated this galaxy. The precursors, as we call them, had evolved beyond physical form. They encountered an entity from outside normal spacetime, a consciousness that consumed energy patterns, particularly those of sentient beings." The crystals pulsed in rhythm with her words, projecting holographic displays of stellar systems being enveloped by darkness. "The precursors fought this void for millennia, but were losing. Facing extinction, a fragment of their collective consciousness sought refuge here on early Earth, embedding themselves within the planet's mantle where the void couldn't detect them." Marcus continued the explanation. "Earth was chosen for its unique electromagnetic properties. The precursors guided our evolution from primitive hominids, accelerating our development and building safeguards into our genetic code. We're not just random apes who developed intelligence. We were engineered as guardians." The crystalline structures flared, projecting images of early humans receiving inexplicable knowledge, surviving catastrophes that should have ended their species. "The Covenant has maintained this secret since before recorded history," Imani said. "Each time an advanced civilization discovered Earth's energy signature and attempted to access it, they inadvertently created a beacon that attracted the void. The precursors implemented emergency protocols, sacrificing parts of themselves to create defenses that destroyed the approaching threat, but also devastating the civilization that triggered it. Vexer processed this information with growing horror. "You're saying each fallen empire wasn't destroyed by humans? They were collateral damage in a war beyond their comprehension." Marcus finished. "The precursors had no choice, sacrificing one civilization to save countless others." A crystal larger than the others pulsed with increasing intensity, projecting an image of the void entity currently approaching, larger and more complex than any previous manifestation. "This time is different," Amani said gravely. "Your commander's scans interacted with Antarctic defenses in a unique way. The void entity approaching isn't just a fragment like before, it's the main consciousness. The precursors are awakening fully for the first time in 50,000 years, because they sense what's coming." The mountain above them trembled as energy patterns shifted throughout Earth's crust. The final confrontation in an ancient war was beginning, with humanity standing as the last defense against cosmic extinction. The Arcturian battle fleet emerged from hyperspace with weapons primed, a formation of 17 capital ships arranged in the hegemony's traditional attack pattern. Their ultimatum broadcast across all frequencies: surrender the precursor technology or face planetary bombardment. Earth's orbital defense platforms pivoted in unison, revealing weapon systems that hummed with energy signatures matching the crystalline structures beneath the mountains. From concealed hangars on Mars and the moons of Jupiter, human vessels emerged, sleek ships incorporating design elements no human engineer should have conceived. In the Covenant facility, Alina watched the unfolding confrontation through a holographic display generated by the crystals themselves. "Your people have made their choice," Marcus said grimly to Vexer, "like every empire before them." The commander's scales had lost their luster, his posture reflecting the terrible weight of understanding. They don't know what they're facing. The hegemony believes they're seizing advantage, not triggering extinction. Alina accessed her archaeological database, displaying records from each fallen civilization. The pattern is identical. Each empire detected Earth's energy signature, attempted to claim it, then faced destruction as the void responded to the disturbance. She turned to Imani. "But it doesn't have to end the same way. I can broadcast these findings to the Galactic Council, show them evidence from 7 civilizations that attacking Earth doesn't destroy humans, but attracts something far worse." The crystalline formations pulsed with increasing intensity as the standoff in orbit continued. Energy patterns rippled through Earth's crust, manifesting as auroras visible across the solar system. "The precursors are fully awakening," Imani explained, her eyes reflecting the crystal light. "They sense the void approaching, not just a fragment this time, but its primary consciousness." The largest crystal suddenly projected an image of the void entity at the galaxy's edge, a darkness that consumed light, matter, and thought itself, accelerating toward the solar system. "The Arcturians have made contact with the Galactic Council," Marcus reported, monitoring communications. "They're requesting reinforcements, claiming Earth harbors technology that threatens galactic stability." Alina made her decision. "Connect me to the Council. They need to see this evidence before more ships arrive." The crystals resonated, somehow interfacing with the quantum communication network. Alina found herself addressing the assembled Galactic Council, representatives of 300 species appearing as holographic projections. "Distinguished council members," she began, voice steady despite the stakes. "What threatens you isn't Earth or humanity. I've recovered archaeological evidence proving that 7 previous civilizations fell not from human aggression, but from what followed when they disturbed the precursors." She transmitted her findings, records from the Zeth, Mithran, and 5 other fallen empires, all showing the same sequence of events now unfolding. The council chamber erupted in debate as predictive models showed catastrophic outcomes regardless of whether Earth fell or stood. "There's only one path forward," Alina argued passionately. "Neither surrender nor destruction, but alliance." Humanity wasn't engineered to conquer. They were designed as guardians of the last defense against a threat that has consumed countless galaxies. The precursor crystals pulsed in agreement, their light reaching through the planet's crust to create auroras visible across the solar system. For the first time in galactic history, humans activated their quantum communication array, linking minds across species in a moment of shared understanding. Through this unprecedented connection, the Council experienced directly what Elena had discovered. The truth could no longer be hidden or denied. The void entity had already destroyed 17 galaxies before reaching the Milky Way. If the precursors fell, nothing would remain. In orbit, the Arcturian fleet held position as new orders arrived. The Council had made an unprecedented decision, a unanimous vote to stand with humanity against the approaching threat. After millennia of expansion and conflict, the galaxy's diverse species faced extinction not from each other, but from a threat beyond comprehension. Ambassador Cheng's voice echoed through the quantum network. For thousands of years, we've hidden what we protect. That time has ended. The final confrontation approaches, and we cannot face it alone. Representatives from across the Milky Way gathered on Earth's moon, a neutral ground transformed into the galaxy's last command center. Species that had warred for millennia now stood shoulder to shoulder, united by the approaching extinction-level threat. Elena watched as Ambassador Cheng addressed the assembled leaders, his diplomatic mask finally cast aside completely. For 23,000 generations, humanity has served as guardian for what sleeps beneath our oceans and mountains, he explained. What you perceived as primitive isolation was calculated protection, not of ourselves, but of the precursors. The lunar surface trembled as Earth's restricted zones activated fully. The Mariana Trench parted like ancient gates, revealing an interdimensional gateway that had remained dormant since before humans walked upright. Antarctic bases projected shimmering barriers extending beyond the solar system, technology it had been building since the dawn of human civilization. Commander Vexer stood among the Arcturian delegation, scales gleaming under the harsh lunar light. The hegemony pledges its fleet, he announced. We sought power without understanding its cost. That mistake will not be repeated. From Earth's surface, a radiance unlike anything in recorded history erupted, the precursors awakening fully for the first time in millions of years. Their consciousness manifested as spectacular displays of energy, communicating directly with all assembled minds simultaneously. We chose humans. Their thoughts resonated within every being present, because among all species they balanced necessary qualities perfectly, physically adaptable yet emotionally complex, capable of both great violence and profound compassion. The ancient consciousness revealed what Elena had begun to suspect: humanity's unpredictable creativity, their emotional depth, their capability for both self-sacrifice and fierce protection. These weren't evolutionary accidents, but carefully designed attributes. Humans were created to be the perfect bridge between physical and energy beings, their minds capable of channeling precursor power without disintegrating. Deep space monitors tracked the void entity as it breached the galaxy's edge, leaving dead stars in its wake, not just consuming energy, but erasing the very concept of existence from reality itself. The assembled fleet, the largest in galactic history, moved into formation, guided by battle plans developed through the merged consciousness of 300 species' greatest military minds. Within the Covenant facility, Imani and her 11 companions joined hands around the central crystal formation. Since before recorded history, we've prepared for this moment, she said. Every human on Earth will serve their design purpose today. Across the planet, humans who had never known their true nature felt the call, a resonance in their DNA activated by the awakening precursors. They surrendered conscious control, becoming conduits for power beyond comprehension. The void entity accelerated toward the solar system, drawn by the energy signature it had hunted across 17 galaxies. But where previous confrontations had featured only fragments of the precursor consciousness sacrificing themselves to drive it back temporarily, this time the full collective stood ready. Ambassador Cheng, revealed now as the Covenant's highest leader, joined his consciousness with the precursors completely. His physical body remained on the Lunar Command Center, but his mind guided the network of human conduits across Earth. Commander Vexer led the combined fleet, coordinating species that had never before fought alongside each other. Elena provided crucial insight from the archaeological record, identifying patterns in the void entity's approach that matched previous incursions. As the final battle commenced, the darkness that had destroyed countless civilizations encountered something unexpected, not just another empire to consume, but guardians specifically designed to oppose it, protecting not something darker as the fallen empires had feared, but the universe's last, brightest hope. The void entity struck with tendrils of absolute nothingness, attempting to sever the connection between humans and precursors. 7 previous times, this attack had succeeded partially, damaging but not destroying the slumbering consciousness. This time, humanity's full potential activated, their minds forming a lattice of protection around the precursor energy. The solar system became a battlefield beyond conventional understanding. Physical weapons merged with consciousness-based attacks, species fighting alongside energy beings against a threat that existed simultaneously across multiple dimensions. In the Covenant Chamber, Elena watched the crystalline structures pulse with blinding intensity. This is why every fallen empire left the same morning, she realized. Not because humanity protected something evil, but because what we protect is powerful enough to end everything if misused. Marcus finished. The cycle ends today, one way or another.